Hey everyone, thank you for checking out the Family First Life Tri-State Serve the People podcast. We appreciate you joining us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, FFL Tri-State. It has all the updates, everything that's coming out, all the things that you see, all these podcasts, they're going to be on there in video format. It would mean a great deal to us if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. But we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. All right, everybody. Thank you for jumping on our weekly training day podcast. We're live in the studio today. This is amazing. Usually we go by Zoom because we talk to people from all over the country. But today I got my good buddy, John Mazzella, platinum producer. Produces probably over 40 grand a month, I think, pretty easily. And it's my DJ.
What's up?
What's up, brother? Go DJ. Yo, that's my DJ.
Love it. That's nice being back in the office.
It's good to have you here, man.
Thank you.
You don't live that far, by the way, so let's not act like it's miles and miles and miles. I mean, it's ludicrous. But it's good to have you in.
You ever hit traffic going down the show?
Yeah, ludicrous. Not on the way up, bro. You don't hit traffic on the way up. But anyway, so John's been crushing it. Having a great year and, you know, doubling back on a great year last year, John. So there's a lot of things that you're doing that are successful from a standpoint of, number one, I think you're one of the best people I know with the way you meet with the client and interact with the client and get them to feel easy about who you are and what you do. And your numbers speak for themselves as far as what you're doing. I think where do you think you're going to end the year? As far as issue paid numbers?
The goal was 300.
Okay.
Where I'm at right now, probably going to be 340, 360.
Love it. That's strong. I love that. It's amazing. And you know what? With a little bit of uptick, John.
Right.
Just a tad, you'll be wearing a red jacket.
I don't have one of those.
I think it's time for you to get one of those. So let's start tracking that, dude. But why don't we get into it a little bit? Let's get into some of the stuff you're doing. What when you look at this business, when you look at kind of where you were 2 years ago, even to where you are now, why don't we talk about that? Because that's a great way to start.
That's emotional. You know, it's definitely it's mind-boggling. You know, 2 years ago, well, you obviously know we met in 2014. And from 2014 to 2018, you know, I was all over the place. Different uplines, going side by side, trying to find my way. Then 2018, I said, hey, you know what? This has me written all over it. So, you know, enough with the excuses. Let's get real. And, you know, there's just so many ways that I could go. You know, for the first time in my life, I'm in the process of buying a house.
Wow.
And you know, without you, without Sean, without Family First, I don't know where I would be.
First time in your life?
Yeah, first time in my life.
Congratulations, man. That warms my heart in a great way, man. Just
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. What's crazier is the success just comes. See, my biggest thing is, Mark, and my thing is I try not to focus about the red jacket and 400,000. You know, that's obviously everybody's goal.
Sure.
But I believe in the merit day by day, week by week, month by month.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what Steve's doing. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Just worry about what you could do, and it'll come. And my goal was to be better than I was 3 years ago. And then last year was 240 issue paid. My goal this year is to be better than that. The goal was 300, but I think it's hands down I should surpass that. And I think if I have the mentality where you just chip away, you become more successful that way.
Yeah, so I mean that's significant, man. I mean, if you think about what you've done and what you've had to do to get that result, let's talk about it. You know, what has changed so much in 2 years? What has changed from a habit? It starts with habits, right? So what's changed so much for you?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is the noise. Noise meaning divorce, food stamps, you know, um, just, being on welfare, coming out of divorce, being in situations where you knew you shouldn't be in. And it's just a matter of taking that leap to the next level. I guess I'm the guy that just doesn't like changes. Maybe I'm afraid of success. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely uncomfortable. Didn't really do anything different. Just blocked out a lot of noise and just put my head down, focused one day at a time. And then before I know it, I was up and running and just took it from there.
Okay. I like it. Now, you block out it's funny how we all have stuff going on, and I think like for all of us, we all have a bunch going on, family stuff, personal stuff, stuff where, I mean, I'm turning 40 here soon, and I got all kinds of injuries that make me get up and move slower. And I mean, like, so
wait till you're 51.
I know we've all got stuff, right? So, but it's what you allow the stuff to do to you that makes a difference. How much of the noise can you truly block out?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. 90% of this business stinks. And if you and I were on another platform, I would use a different word. Okay? So 90% of this business could really take an effect on somebody. 10% is the satisfying part, which outweighs the 90%.
Break that down.
Right.
How can 10% outweigh 90?
I'll tell you, 90% of this business this is mainly for like the newer agent.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the business for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is. Like for me, I was in the business for 4 years. I was trying to find my way. So if you're a newer agent, you didn't get there yet. Starts with leads. Do I go final expense? Do I go mortgage insurance? What companies, what carriers do I use? What products do I use? It's a thinking process, and it can take a toll on you. Then, how many leads do I buy? Do I buy 10, 20 good leads and spend $500, $1,000 that I don't have? Or do I take that money and buy 120 leads that are older leads that's going to be more difficult, and it's a different approach? So which way do I go? Stress, more stress. Then you have to call the people. Then they have to answer the phones, and you have to find a way how they can answer the phones. Then you have to book the appointment. Then go to the house, sell make the presentation, hope they sign the application, hope it goes through. Well, I think I'm the only one that's using, paper apps as opposed to e-apps.
What world are you living in?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, by the way, that ends today. By the way.
So anyway, there's a lot that goes into the business. Whereas opposed to, if you go on 8 appointments a day or 5 appointments and the first 4 fall out, and then you go to your last appointment and it turns out to be a sale, great, you help the family, all well and good. That's satisfying. That satisfies you. It satisfies everything you do in this business. So I just think that there's so much noise in that 90%. And at the end of the day, it's mindset. So if you have the mindset, see, I worked on Wall Street. I was married to the same woman 2 times. I have 3 kids. I know what it's like for somebody to tell me no.
The only person I've heard say that was Sean Mike. I never knew that about you. Yeah. Married the same woman twice.
Yeah. So
okay, I'm in.
For me, I could take rejection. A lot of people don't take rejection well. I can't tell you how many of my friends tell me, I can't believe you do that. You really call all those people in a day and you ask them? I'll tell people, yeah, I call people 2, 3, 4 times in a row until they pick up you do that? Like, yeah. And 90% of these people are not picking up the phone because they just think you're an automated system trying to scam them. So it makes our job tougher. So that's why I think a majority of this business can really put a lot of pressure on somebody. And it's all about mindset.
How do you beat the pressure then?
Oh, wow. You got guys like you, guys that are all over this country, putting their success up on platforms like Facebook and, listening to their success, listening to their stories, how they did it.
How'd you beat it?
Just working the system.
You work the system.
Yeah, just wake up on Mondays, make my calls.
How'd you decide to do that?
Well, I always did it. I just didn't do it in a way that I was supposed to do it.
Okay.
I went on 5 appointments a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the DJ business. I was doing well there, and next thing you know, you're approaching 50 years old. You know what? We got to make a move here.
Got it. So you decided.
Well, I mean, not that I decided. I just didn't want the government's help anymore.
Okay, I like that. And then you decided to get serious about this business.
Yeah, I knew I had what it takes to be successful. There's no difference between you and me, or Brian and me, or Jonathan, or Ivan, or anybody. Just hey, for those guys, it came sooner. For me, it'll come. I'm like Cecil Turtle and Bugs Bunny. He wins the race. Slow wins the race. I'll get there.
I like it. No doubt. Your mentality definitely changed that day you called me and said, I'm ready to go. And listen, we've been back and forth, I don't know, since 2014. I mean, I've known you.
Here's something you don't know about me. Hate to cut you off. The day I met you and Julia Gibbons, July 2014, August 2014.
I don't even remember the date. But
I met Julia. I met you. I felt good about it. New upline, new products. I was just going in there to get one carrier.
Yeah, I remember.
And Julia's
I
like,
remember.
no, you got to do this. You got to do this. All right.
That makes sense. That's her.
On my way home, my wife was like, listen, I'm not coming home. I'm out. I'm done.
What?
I'm like, what?
Were you blindsided or was that?
Kind of. I mean, listen, we had a rough time, but yeah, it was definitely, it was definitely a culture shock. It's like, I'm taking the kids. I'm like, no, you're not. So, it was crazy. It was like 14, 15, 16. It was kind of crazy.
Got it.
17, I was just, all right, I'm getting used to this. And then 18, I was like, all right, enough is enough.
It's just so interesting. Like, and you never know what people are going through. Like, that's why you have to be so empathetic. And look, we were around the whole time. We were at 2014, we were just scratching and clawing to try to stay alive. And I remember you coming in. For one carrier, and I remember just going back and forth with you through the years. And you're like, I'm working over here, and I'm working over here, and I'm doing these IULs, and I'm blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, are you making any money? Like, at what point do we start making money, bro?
I remember every one of those conversations, and I gotta tell you, for whoever's listening out here, Mark picked up the phone every time. I wasn't, I don't know. What was I submitting? Was I submitting any business?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
And you picked up the phone. Again, I said it before. I'll say it again. I'll take it to my grave. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be.
Well, you did the work, brother, and it's a pleasure to see where you are. But let's get into some of the psychology. What is your psychology going into the phones and starting to dial through to get your appointments? We've got new producers that are listening in. They want to know, what does it take? What does it look like? What is the actual not the schedule, but the actual action? What does that look like? What's the mindset behind that action for 370,000 close to Hall of Fame producer?
First of all, don't look at 370,000. Look at doing 10,000. Because when you do 10,000, you'll do 20. You'll do 100. You'll do, it'll just keep growing. But I think the psychology is, you got to have a game plan. My game plan now is waking up. I'm a single dad, as a lot of you may know. Boys live with me. They need attention. So I want to make sure I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. So from 5 to 7, it's laundry. It's doing what I need to do as a dad, as a parent. 7:30, 8 o'clock, going to the office, set my day. If it's appointments, so be it. If it's a phone day, I just do my hit list. I'm on my own admin. So I got to call the carriers. I got to take declines and turn them into approvals. So I'm doing my hit list. And I've always learned day by day, week by week, month by month. I don't look ahead. I don't, when you tell me, you red jacket, it just makes me feel a little uncomfortable because I got to get to 3 first before I get to 4. So.
I like applying pressure like that.
And when you do it that way, it comes.
I know. It's true.
Some people it took months to do. Some people it took a little longer than that. But if you trust the process, it'll come.
So no doubt. Now let's talk. Let's go into the phones, and dialing for success. What does that look like? What is it like when you're going call by call, trying to book appointments and get to your appointments, and how to tee off that way?
Well, the first thing I would say is if you're a newer agent or older agent, get to the office on Monday and Thursday. It is so easy to start making calls at 8 o'clock, and by 8:30, it's like, all right, what's on Netflix? It's so easy to fall into that trap. But if you're here on Monday and Thursday, if you're in an office on Monday and Thursday, I can't promise you're going to make 15 appointments, but I can promise you're going to be sharper than what you were last week. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
I come in on Monday and Thursday. I may not get a bunch of appointments, but I'm around positive people. I have all the answers there. What did I do wrong? What are you hearing? And it'll only grow from there. Don't do this business alone if you're new and you are in a rut like I was for 3-4 years. Definitely get to an office. And as far as the mindset of the phone call, I mean, just have a conversation with people. They need help.
Right.
For so many years, it was like, oh, you need a DJ for your wedding? I got you. All right, you need insurance? All right. Biggest problem is them answering the phone. Once they answer the phone, you're good.
You have certain things you do to get them to pick up the phone?
Well, about an hour ago, after calling somebody for a couple of weeks and texting them, well, not texting them, but I called them 3-4 times in a row. And then I'm like, Barbara, call me back, please. Who's this? Like within seconds.
That was a text message?
Yeah.
So you called them 3-4 times in a row, multiple weeks in a row. They didn't pick up.
Yep.
And then you texted them.
I texted them. I said, Barbara, call me back, please. And then within a minute later, it was like, who's this? And then I have a little script like, hey, this is John. Just getting back to you about this information you filled out for mortgage insurance. And I take a picture of the lead.
Yep.
And I send it. And then I called her back. She answered the phone. She goes, I'm glad you called. I'm just at work, but I ran out for a couple of minutes to talk to you.
Huh.
I made the appointment for Saturday morning. So, again, I mean, most people don't pick up the phone because they don't know who we are. But just be relentless.
Right. And that's kind of like the point. Like, so if you're a new agent, you have to be listening to this, or even an agent trying to reestablish yourself. You can't let the mental piece of this wear you out. You have to wear it out.
And if you're in the office, it's not going to beat you.
You have a much better shot because of all the people around. But the very fact that you kept dialing, and then texted, I mean, it's the way it is. She wasn't avoiding your phone call.
Right.
And I think these leads don't work. How does the lead not work? What did the lead do to not work? Can someone help me with this?
I mean, there is a difference between an older lead and a newer lead. At the end of the day, it's all the same thing. As long as they pick up it's just a different approach.
But the leads work, dude. You called them 3-4 times. Fine. They didn't pick up. Fine. You went another route. You texted.
Hey, listen.
In my day, I would door knock them. I didn't text leads. I was always afraid they would call it. They'd text and cancel back. You guys got a lot more guts than me. But I would door knock them. Well, the lady wanted an appointment. So should I let my frustration with the lead not allow me to continuously be relentless and get this person protected?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I think that's a takeaway here. I wanna kind of get into, and I appreciate your approach and you sharing it on the phone. I want you to take us in the home because you're one of the best I know.
All right.
And I want you to kind of walk us through the path of getting in the home and setting the table so that you can create a scene that helps protect families.
One of my biggest things is when I book the appointment, I'm building a little bit of a rapport. I'm not the guy that's going to say, hey, this is John, mortgage insurance. I got some information for you. I'll see you Tuesday. Have a great day. You know, I get a little bit, again, I'm not making love to them in that session, but I'm making them feel a little bit more comfortable where when I go in the house, it's not more of a who I am session. But, you know, when I walk into the house, the first thing I'm doing is taking off my shoes, giving them compliments on whatever I see, whether it's landscaping, just, you know, first thing is, oh, how long you here? Oh, I've been here 15 years. Oh, so this is a refinance. Yes, okay. Or I've been here for a month or 3 months, whatever the case may be. I'm always giving them compliments on something. Take off my shoes, go right to the table. I'm always asking permission as far as where do you want me? Mm-hmm. You know, is this good? You know, but now it's, should I put my mask on? Am I good?
Yeah.
No, you're good. And I think it's just a matter of having them feel comfortable. And the first thing I do is explain to them that I don't work for any, like the first thing I'll do after we build a little bit of a rapport is I take out my state license, I slide it to them, I take out my wallet with my driver's license, and then I have the lead in my hand or on my book. Why are you showing me your license? Because I'm going to ask you some medical questions and I just want you to know who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. So after that, they take it. I'm like, all right, this is me and this is you, right? Yes. So I confirm all the information, put it off to the side. And the first thing I do is say, all right, well, how many of these did you get?
First question.
How many? Yeah. How many did you get? Oh, I got like 10, 15. I say, yeah. And what I'll say is, and I say it as is, I'm like, relentless bastards. And they chuckle. And they chuckle because I'm on your side. I'm on their side. I'm not on the bank side. I'm on your side.
Right.
Now I have an obligation to the bank, which I get into. All right, how many did you get? I got 10. I got 15. I got 5. All right, how many did you send back? Sent back 1. Okay, great. You don't need to send back anymore. I sent back 2, 3, 5, whatever. How many people? You know, did you talk? No, you're the first. Usually it's no. I haven't spoke to anybody yet. Nobody's come out to see me. Nobody's called me. You're the only one that's called me back. I get that a lot. Okay, great. Well, you don't need to do anything anymore. You know, I do work with. Let me just explain to you what I do. I work with a company by the name of Family First Life. Family First Life is the median between the public and the carriers.
Okay? I like that.
Like for the agents. Family First Life has relationships with hundreds and hundreds of banks and mortgage companies. So when you send your information to your mortgage carrier, they send it over to us, and then my manager sends it down to the agents based on geographical location. So because I'm always in Toms River, and usually it's like, oh, all right, because now they know the process. You know, and I've been assigned as the field underwriter. So what I'm going to do is just touch on a couple of subjects. Number one, I'm going to talk a little bit about your finances. I'm going to talk about your goals. when you're here and what you would like to see happen when you're not here.
I love that.
Also, we're going to talk a little bit about your health. That's really going to determine which way we go. I work with 17, 18 different carriers, so I'm going to get you the best price possible. But the more information you give me, the more I can help you.
Nice.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. I'm going to be as honest as I can. I expect you to be honest too. So if you had a heart attack last week, just let me know.
Right.
You know, and just break the ice a little bit. And I go right into it. You know, all right, I see here your loan amount is $200,000.
Well, let me just pause real quick because I want to buy mortgage protection right now from you. I don't feel like I'm confused. I'm not, and I'm disarmed right now because you've walked me down a path of what I didn't know. What I didn't know before you got here was what was this all going to be? What's this going to happen? Now, 4 minutes into it, I know exactly what this is, who you are, what's it going to be. I feel really good about this.
When I tell you the premium is going to be $460, just make sure you have that same attitude.
I actually like that. That's good. But keep going.
So the first question I'm asking is, your mortgage amount is $200,000. What did they assess the house at? Is this a 30-year fix? What's the interest rate? Whatever the interest rate is, good for you is my reply. You know, make them feel good about what they got themselves into.
Right.
What's the mortgage amount? Okay. So then, before I go any further, I stop and I say, okay, so here's the mortgage situation. When you pass away, who we writing the check out to? Who's your beneficiary? So your wife, is it kids, whatever the case may be. Okay. And the first question I ask is, what's their goal? A lot of people, not a lot, but some people I do speak to, they're summer homes. You know, some people I speak to are in 50 and over communities or 55 and over communities where their kids can't live there. Not old enough. So my first question is, when you pass away, who's handling everything? What are they doing? Are they going to keep the house or are they going to sell the house? What's the goal here? And everybody's different. We're chameleons. So it's a different conversation if I walk into a home where they're 35, 40 years old, married, 2 kids, as opposed to a 60-year-old or a 70-year-old who just refinanced and is alone and just depends on his kids. So it's a different conversation. But my thing is, what are they doing? Are they going to keep the house? Or are they going to sell the house? And if they say no, they're going to sell the house. I'm like, well, you know what, Bob? You don't have to insure this whole $250,000. And let me explain. And what I'll do is I call it gap insurance. You know, in the event that you pass away today, you know, little Mark is going to sell the house in 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 12 months. What we want to do is give him insurance for that time where he's not coming out of his own pocket to keep this going.
Right.
Protect that equity.
Right.
And usually it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
That's huge.
And then I'm like, I'm going to give you both scenarios. I'm going to tell you how much it is if we do that. But I'm telling you, I'm not a sales guy. I'm just a field underwriter. I don't care. But it doesn't matter whether you go that amount or this amount. It's protecting them. And they do like that.
But it's so easy. I mean, your delivery is so easy. I think that we get a lot of people on here, and there's a lot of training all over the country. The idea is to just mesh with the person that sounds the most like you. Listen and listen and listen and listen for people who have nuggets that you can use, and mesh with someone who sounds the most like you. I don't necessarily do it your way. Like I couldn't do it your way, but it makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, I mean, I despise my voice. I mean, I can't even listen to my own podcast because I cringe when I listen to myself. Meanwhile, I've had a microphone in my hand since the early '80s, being a DJ. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of if you're on their side, You know, if you're patting them on the shoulder and say, "Listen, I got you. I'm here for you."
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you. And people like that when
Mm-hmm.
when you tell them, "Yeah, Bob, you don't have to pay $400 a month. You can probably get away with paying $100."
Mm-hmm.
So after that scenario, I now have an idea on which way I want to go, and I go right into health. I used to go into what other life insurance do you have. I used to
Mm-hmm.
go. I stopped doing that.
Any reason why?
Yeah, it becomes too confusing sometimes because they're like, "Oh wait a minute, I have life insurance, so if I die, my kids are good." So I don't want to remind them of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
A. B, it becomes confusing where it's another thing to think about. So I just totally avoid it. Now, if it comes up on their end, then I'll attack it.
Got it.
You know, go get the policy, let me
Mm-hmm.
see what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But I go right to the health, and I'm like, all right, you know, talk to me a little bit about your health. And I love my health is good. All right, yeah, I had a heart surgery 6 months ago. Right, you're not good. No, and then from the heart, from the health, with the health, it's like, you know, how's your health? Let's start with medications.
Got it.
Break down the medications. Are you a diabetic? Since when? And just break it down as best as you can.
Got it.
And being around the carriers and the underwriters for quite some time, it's easier for me as opposed to a newer agent who's trying to find their way. But that's why we give you cheat sheets.
Yeah, right.
They're right there in front of you.
But yeah, and I'm gonna add in here that your persistency is insanely good. So whatever you're doing is working. I mean, I think mainly the point that sticks out the most to me is you putting your arm around the client and making them feel like you're with them, you're on their side, you're trying to help them out. And I think that just is going to continue and always go a long way, no matter what. Your delivery, your setup, it all makes sense on why you knock down what you knock down premium wise, and it just makes sense, you know. So if we could end on a parting shot, that you'd give new agents, what do you think would be a great tip?
First tip is block out the noise. You're going to talk to other people. There are other people around that are jealous of what you do, that are not supportive. Get in that office every Monday and Thursday. Surround yourself by talent. Surround yourself by positive people. If you don't know the answer, somebody next to you is going to have it. And you're always going to pick something up in an office. You know, whether it's how he says it or how she says it. All right, let me go that route.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't have any particular sales pitch or presentation, I should say. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm.
Right? It's really how you say it. I mean, are you saying it with confliction? Are you saying it with passion? Are you saying it as if your parents were on the other side of the table or on the other line? Or are you saying it because you had a bill that was due yesterday?
Right.
There's a big difference. And those people are 60, 70, 80 years old. They've heard all the sales presentations, man. They know it better than us.
Facts.
They know it better than us. My big thing is don't get too far ahead of yourself. Chargebacks are going to come. Noise is going to, the noise will be there. But if you play your cards right, you're not going to get chargebacks. If you play your cards right, you're going to sit down with more people over time just by coming to the office.
Yeah, that's a great tip, man. And spoken like a true vet. And I think if you're listening, you're going to take a lot of notes from this. You're going to add a lot of this to your repertoire. It's smooth, easy delivery, and it works. It works in volume. How many appointments would you say on average you run a week, John?
Probably 15 to 20. I had 30 appointments this past week.
You got a lot.
But yeah, usually it's about an average of 20.
Okay, so
20 appointments.
All right. Yeah, so I think if you ramp that up 5 more appointments, you get the Hall of Fame, brother. That's what I think. I'm just going to throw it out there before we sign off.
Thanks.
You know, if you worked a grown man schedule, you probably get to that Hall of Fame number, brother. If you think about it. We just being honest, but no. But no, thank you everybody for jumping on. Thanks, John, for joining us in the booth, man. You killed it as always. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for what you're doing and being an example to people who can go out there and do it, who can start from nothing, who can be at rock bottom and take this thing to a whole new place, and in 2 years be buying a house, man, for your family, for your kids. Dude, that's got to feel like, I mean, are you kidding me?
Feels good, man.
That's amazing, dude. So thank you again, guys, for jumping on. Let's make it a big week. God bless you. We'll see you next week. Take care.